Hey Keon, I wanted to leave you some feedback on your rough draft. I think that you got two really strong things going on in this paper. Number one, uh, the context, that the research on school shootings that you've brought into this paper to help create context for the cartoon is working really nicely. So good job there. And then secondly, oh, your description of the cartoon itself is excellent. You did a really nice job with your descriptive writing, really capturing it. So fantastic work there. I was like, yes, yes, yes. This description is solid. There's some things here and there that I want to talk to you about in terms of improving the draft. Primarily, the biggest issue is the fact that you do not yet have a thesis statement. However, I think that I see the makings of one. So what I want to do in my feedback is kind of walk you through each of the paragraphs, the issues that I was seeing, and how I think that you should revise, and then towards the end, let's try to talk about creating a clear thesis here, because I think that this is close to a good visual analysis, but you do have some revision to do before the final draft. Okay, so as I said before, you have a really good, or I like the fact that you brought in this historical context here. The organization of the sentences, however, is a little wonky. So I want you to think. I don't want you to scrap any of these ideas. I just want you to think about how you can better organize them. So you say, according to CNN News, there have been 180 shootings and 356 victims in the last 10 years, and that is just in K 12 schooling. School shootings and violence have become a huge topic in today's society. So it's like that second sentence actually should have come first, right? Um, so I think this would read better if you said school shootings and violence have you, and you actually want to say have here, because this is a plural subject because you're talking about two things. And actually, I take that back, because violence, let's look at it this way. I think you're just repeating yourself. So I would just say school shootings have become a huge topic in today's society. According to CNN News, there have been 180 school shootings and victims in the last 10 years. So move K through 12 schooling up here. I think that the sentence will read better. And I would say here, while the 2019-2020 school year had the lowest shooting numbers in the last 10 years, this is only due to the fact that schools have been shut down due to COVID-19. Therefore, the problem still exists and has not disappeared, right? Okay, do you see what I'm doing there? So all the ideas in this paragraph are good. I just want you to work on moving the ideas in the sentences around so they're a little clearer, like I said with this one, and then moving the position, like the organization of the sentences around. So I think this idea should come first, this idea second, and this idea third, and then yeah, you have this idea in the right place. But also think about weaving in transitions that'll create clear connections between the sentences, so they don't read in isolation, but rather they read as if they're connecting together. This right here could be a really strong paragraph. You just have some tweaking to do. This paragraph where your description is the strongest. Um, it's the strongest piece. It's the strongest paragraph in your essay so far. There's just a couple of things here and there that I want you to edit for. If you can find the title of the political cartoon or the artist, let me scroll down here. I hope you're not getting seasick. If you could research who this is, I can't read it because my eyes are failing, but if you could figure out who this is, and instead of referring to it as this sentence is going to be stronger. So let me just give you an example. Let's just say you're the artist, since I don't have a name. So I would say something to the effect of, Keon Holloway's political cartoon takes place inside of a retail store, right? Does that make sense? So you're creating context there. This description is working really well. Here, I recommend trying to bring the ideas into these two sentences. Let me highlight these into a single sentence. I think this section will read stronger. So let me demonstrate for you. In this image, there are at least 15 different backpacks, all hung on a plain white wall, in shades of purple, blue, green, yellow, pink, purple. Does that make sense? So like repeating these ideas, backpacks and backpacks, is like making the sentences clunky there. And really, if you could bring those two ideas together while getting rid of the clunky repetition, it'll read better. So in short, what I'm suggesting is talk about the colors in this sentence along with you introducing them. I am a little lost by this question here, because there are customers. Granted, they are the only customers that we see, so we could infer that they are the only customers in the store, meaning there's not many. However, you can't say what is a store without customers when there are customers in them. So I would just yank that sentence out. Yeah, yeah. This sentence I love. The little boy is staring up at his mom, in confusion, with his eyes big and his mouth open wide. Yeah, this is such a good description here. And so you say the first thing I think of when I look at this cartoon is all the shootings that have happened in school today. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. This is good. So I think here, there's no need to repeat this as you've said before. You've already created that context, so there's no need to repeat it, right? It shows how a mother but is afraid of all the violence. No, the backpacks are not actually bulletproof. Yeah, that's a good point. But go ahead and pause here. This is where you need to expand. Parents are scared and protective of their children no matter what age they are. Yeah, and you're talking about all of these different age groups, but you need to talk about why parents are scared, right? And the ridiculousness of this cartoon. You're pointing to it when you say there's no way that these backpacks are going to protect the child. Why are parents scared, right? It's the increase in shootings, but it's also because no one has done anything about it, right? So the people in positions to do something about it, like politicians, have done nothing, right? And so all of this is falling on the shoulders of parents, and they're doing whatever they possibly can to help keep their kids protected. But we know, as viewers of this cartoon, that it's just not enough. So it's like the cartoon is pointing out the ridiculousness, the unfairness of this situation, and tapping into the real fear. Again, down here, you're repeating yourself, so make sure that you yank that out. Yeah, I agree here. And I think that this could be your final insight. I'm not sure what you mean by loud, because loud indicates volume. So I think that this is just a word choice. I think maybe go for a different word choice here. I think maybe you mean color, right? Because you talked about the different colors. The one things that you're missing in your analysis, like your description is really good, but think about maybe talking about composition. Think about, you did a really nice job talking about the expressions on their face. So one of the things that you left out was what the little boy probably said to get his mother to say what she says, right? Like, so he probably said something to the effect of, why are you doing this? Or why so many bags, right? So that's something that you could talk about as well. So the one thing that's missing here is your thesis statement. I think that you have nailed purpose right here. So what you want to include is, so if the if the image shows how a mother is about to send her child back to school, but is afraid of all the violence, maybe indicate why the writer chose to do this. Maybe indicate, is it persuasive and why? Maybe indicate what commentary the picture seems to make on parents' fear of school violence. If you could do that, I think that you would have a good thesis statement. So I think the place for the thesis is probably right about here. I think this section where you're talking about, of course, they're not bulletproof, that should be its own paragraph, and you should expand on that idea. So in terms of the thesis statement, I would have it follow the statement of the purpose. And I think if your thesis statement was something to the effect of, it's persuasive for this reason, or it taps into these anxieties for this reason, I think that would be a pretty effective thesis statement. So there is some work to do, but I think that you can get it there. And note that, as I said, your description is working quite well. Now you need to dig into your analysis. And I think that you'll be able to do that once you pin down that thesis. All right, Keon, let me know if you have any questions.